Hey, happy Thursday. It's that time again for Talk to Talk JR, and I appreciate you tuning in. I have a wonderful guest here today that I have had the pleasure to meet over the past year and a half, maybe 2 years or so, and I have utmost respect for her, and I'm so happy that you get to meet her today if you don't know her, and we have the time to go through this. Before we start, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mention that I do change up the front of this from time to time, and last week there was some knocking over of some things and I rearranged, but I'm so happy. If we look down right here in the front, I opened a Bellissimo. It's a pack of cards, and in that is some history, and what it does, it gives you a chance to pull some cards from history and pictures, and in there it's got some pieces from that time period. Well, I was excited because I got to pull George Washington, a card here, this green, and it's called a relic card because it has a piece of history. So in that time period of George Washington, it's got some paper in there, and it's one of 25. It's a numbered card. It's one of 25, and I was just kind of excited because it's the first independent elected official we had, and I think it's the only independent president we've ever had. So that's kind of cool, and I put him up here. But right behind him is one of my researched heroes, not only in politics but as in life. I guess I'm older, and I don't know if hero is the right word, but I had a chance to research him. I've had a chance to look into him, but it's Dwight D. Eisenhower, and I think one of the top rung presidents I've ever had. And again, this is my opinion, not a editorial piece, but great American hero, great president, great personal, rags to riches story, and truly the American dream story in my opinion. But today on Talk to Talk JR, we have Miss Susie Davis. Wonderful person. I again had the pleasure to meet her, and just wonderful person talking. And she went out on a limb and threw caution to the wind, and got to know me a little, and we became friends, and became close with her, with her and her husband, and I'm brought her on so she could tell a little bit about herself, so everybody else has a chance to meet her, and very, very powerful individual. So, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Hey, if I was any better, I'd be perfect. So I don't think I can get any better because there's only one that's perfect.
That's true.
So yeah.
That's true.
So what? Just want to talk a little bit. Were you born here in Escambia County?
No, I was born in Winfield, Alabama, and
Okay.
moved down here when I was 3 days old.
3 days.
3 days old.
So yeah,
basically.
So you're from here. I got you. So 3 days. That must have been a long journey because you can't walk very far at 3 days.
No. My dad was in the Navy.
Your dad was in the Navy.
My dad was in the Navy. He worked on a over it doing something with helicopters at Ellison Field. I never understood exactly what he did.
You know what I say about helicopter people are shaken, not stirred. Those things vibrate so much. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I find that a lot. It's hard to throw a rock in this area and not hit someone that's in the service or a child of someone that was in the service. So it's a great area for service-minded individuals.
Right.
So you moved down here at 3 days old. Where did you go to school?
Here in Pensacola, I first started out at Inslee Elementary.
Okay.
And then I went to Pine Meadow for a little while, then Wedgwood Middle School, and then Tate High School.
Tate graduate. Okay, so all right. What when you graduated Tate, did you think about doing anything, or did you do any kind of work? Did you, like when I graduated, I said, well, I'm gonna go work at Wendy's or something or whatever. Did you?
That's funny because that's where I worked.
The little square burgers, and you push the corners and move on. That's good. That's funny. Okay, so where did you have any children?
I do. I have one son.
One son. Where was he born?
Here in Pensacola at West Florida Hospital.
Okay. All right. Was it
He's old now.
old?
Yeah, like
Don't
me.
say that. Don't say that. Don't say. How old?
He's 34.
That's all right. What and I already mentioned your husband that I know as well. So I guess, and you guys still live here. You don't live in Pensacola, do you?
No, we moved from Pace about 3 years ago up here because my husband's from here. Davisville is his family.
Davisville.
So he
Okay.
grew up in Davisville, and some people don't know what Davisville is, but it's between Walnut Hill and Atmore, a little
Okay.
community, and that's where all the Davises live, and they still live there. There's a bunch of them.
Is that why it's named Davisville?
That's why it's named Davisville.
So you married a gentleman that actually has a community named after his family.
I do.
Oh. Okay. So 3 years ago, that brought you back to that community.
It did.
Is
They-
that because he retired, or?
Right before he retired, we bought property up here, and he's been doing hunting club stuff for years. And so he wanted to live on the hunting club, so that's what we did. We bought property next to the hunting club, and that's where we're living.
Okay. Well, you two are pretty active up in the North End that I know of. Is there anything you'd like to share about how active you are up there at the moment?
At the moment, I'm a member of the Ruritan Club.
Okay.
I just joined that because my husband was familiar with it and wanted to join, and then I found out what exactly they do. They do things for the community, like if people need a wheelchair ramp, they'll get together and they'll fund it and they'll build it. They do, like you need a tarp on your house, they'll go get a tarp, they'll put it on your house. They do different things for the community. They have a fish fry during Heritage Festival. They do auction every year, a farm auction, which everybody loves.
And those events that you're speaking about for the items like the tarps, if you have a leaky roof, or the ramps or the handrails, that's all free to the receiver.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And is there anything else you may be involved in?
Yes, I'm a member of the Walnut Hill Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay.
I'm not actually a firefighter because I used to be back in the 80s. Back then you had to have 30 hours of firefighting classes. This time you have to have 160, which I don't have the want to or the need to go in a burning building anymore. I'm not too old. So I just, I'm a paramedic. I keep up my certification, and I run medical calls and out here in the community.
Okay. So it keeps you pretty busy.
It does. It's because our ambulances usually have a lengthy response time, so you need first responders there right away.
So that is a thing, right? So medical, no matter if there is if you station one in, I'm going to use example, I guess, but let's say you station one in Molino. I'm just using an example, right?
Yeah.
You have an ambulance station in Molino, and there's a call that goes out in even Walnut Hill. What do you think that time for that Molino ambulance to get to that patient would be?
At least 25 minutes.
20 to 25 minutes?
Yes.
So as a volunteer, you could probably arrive and at least administer that life-saving first aid within 7 minutes, 8 minutes maybe?
Yeah, that's probably the average.
And what's the national response time? Do you know that?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I
So
used to know that when I worked, but I don't know that now.
sure. So I think 7 to 10 minutes would be a lot quicker than 25, and it's a time game.
Right.
I don't mean game as in it's a game. I mean it's a time measurement, and it's a time game. The faster you can get somebody there to render aid, the better chance of survival, or a better chance of coming out on a plus side of an injury you have.
Right.
Yeah. So I say all that, and that's great. That's what I mean by I respect you, because you're doing it for absolutely nothing. Because I don't think you take a stipend at all, right?
No, I don't.
So all of that is absolutely nothing.
It's all on me.
So that's wonderful. So so you covered that you've been living where you live for 3 years. You went to Tate. You moved to, and you kind of mentioned that you moved to Pace, and then you came back. But you jumped right in to the community up here, and just that's it. There's no question that you're here and you're making a difference. So that's great.
My
So-
heart's in it. My heart's always been in it, and I can't just retire and sit around and do nothing. So I got to be doing something.
Why not? I can.
Well, yeah, but if you stop and you sit down, you never get up.
Well, I'm retired. I retired last year, and I
Yeah,
still
but-
don't have a job.
Yeah, but you get up and go.
That's not true. Prove it.
I got pictures.
So listen. So why didn't you stay at Wendy's and mash the square burgers? When did you find a passion and decide, hey, public service? I don't want to be rich. I want to barely pay my bills, and I want to work in public service. When did that become a passion?
Probably when I was in middle school. I was
Oh.
at my bus stop, and we lived near a train track, and a car came across the tracks right at the time the train was coming. The train hit her and killed her and the baby. And I noticed it didn't bother me to go up and see it, because we ran up to try to see if we could do something. And the blood in the guts don't bother me. So I was like, maybe I'll do this, be a nurse or something when I get older. So that's how that started. And then I joined the Inslee Volunteer Fire Department in 1983.
1983.
Yeah, I'm telling how old I am. And then I took a job as a 911 dispatcher. And that's where my career with EMS started, in dispatch.
Okay. Were you still so you took a job with the dispatch, but were you still volunteering with the fire department at the same time?
I was, and I was trying to go through EMT school. And when I got out of EMT school, Scambia wouldn't hire me full time, so I took a full time job at Santa Rosa EMS and worked there running transfers until I could get some experience. Then I went back to Escambia and got a full time job as an EMT there.
Okay. So how long? I guess the question's going to be: do you have a elaborate, basic life-saving skills that you did before you moved up, or how does that work?
Well, just from running medical calls with the fire department is how I guess I got my skills.
In Santa Rosa.
In Inslee Fire Department in
Okay.
Escambia County.
Okay.
And then when I went over to Santa Rosa, I was a transport truck, which meant you do nursing home to hospital, hospital to nursing home. And that's how you learn the area and you learn the people.
Okay. Does the fire department still do medical? They don't have an EMS and fire department here in Escambia now, right?
You mean together?
Like they don't have a bus or an ambulance, at the fire department. It's separated, right?
They're separate departments, but they do station ambulances at the fire departments.
Right. Okay. I'm just clarifying. I don't know. If you have an EMS call, the fire department could show up, but they're not EMS. They can't transport.
They can't transport.
Okay. They don't have the little, I don't know what they're called, the trucks, the EMS truck, the sprinter truck, or whatever it's called.
They call them units.
Yeah. Sorry, man. So, take me on a journey take all of us actually on the journey of your EMS world, your EMS journey.
Well,
I think that's what we're here for.
when I got bit by the EMT bug, knowing
Yeah.
I wanted to be on an ambulance, driving lights and sirens, running high speeds, I said, I'm going to do this until I don't want to do it anymore. Well, the paramedic instructor at the college kept hounding me. You really need to go to paramedic school. You really need to go to paramedic school. Well, I gave in. And I decided to go to paramedic school. And once I finished paramedic school, I was still working at Escambia. I was told that there is no full-time positions for paramedic. I would have to work as an EMT. Work as a paramedic with EMT pay. So I was like, well, that's my foot in the door. I guess I'll have to do that. So I did that for a while until there was an open spot.
So for me, is that ALS as BLS pay?
Right.
Okay.
And the difference between ALS and BLS is basic life support is just bandage their wounds, stop the bleeding, that sort of thing. Because an EMT assists a paramedic. Paramedic can push drugs, intubate. They're actually a moving emergency room without a doctor.
Okay.
They're allowed to do things that even nurses can't do.
Okay.
Then I took the state boards.
For those of us and listening as well, and me, including us, because me, ALS is,
Advanced life support.
and BLS is,
Basic life support.
okay. All right, so I just want to throw that out there because we're using the acronyms.
Oh, okay. Well, when I got out of paramedic school, I didn't pass the test the first time or the second time because I have test anxiety, but I didn't give up.
Okay.
And during all that time, we had a bad accident, my son and I did, and he had to go to Boston for some care because he had a bad head injury. So after that, I went back to work. My dad was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, and so that makes me half. So that makes me stubborn, very stubborn. I don't know what no means.
Gotcha.
When I first got hired on as a paramedic, Janice Kilgore was our public safety director, and I have to give her props because a lot of people didn't like her, but I learned a lot from that lady. She could sit down and talk to you and ask you questions and just kind of glare at you while you're trying to think about what you're going to say, and you would be telling her you stole a pencil in kindergarten. That's how good she was, and I always respected her.
Okay.
She was the only public safety director that I respected.
While you were.
While I was working.
Okay. Okay.
And while I was in paramedic school, I was on my way, it was right after Thanksgiving, I believe, I was on my way to Foley to go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a car accident in front of me, and it was a car that flipped over. Well, I wasn't going to stop because you know how you don't want to get involved, the liability. But I saw there was kids involved, so kids hit your heart. I had to stop. And there was this girl who the car flipped over on top of her. And she was laying there, and all the little girl had was just a big hole in her face. You couldn't tell anything about her but this hole that was in her face. And she was trying to breathe through that hole. Little bubbles was coming out. So I panicked and said, we got to do something for her. We got to get her out. So it just so happened one of the off-duty Pensacola police officers stopped to see if I needed help, and that was Steve Davis. And Steve come over there and he said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "I got to find something to suction her airway, or she's going to die. I got a helicopter coming, but she's going to die." He went around to the different people that we had traffic stopped, to different people, and he found a turkey baster in an RV. Some guy handed him a turkey baster. He brought that back, and we suctioned her airway until the helicopter landed. We had no equipment. We just had our hands. And he submitted me to get EMS of the Year through the state. And so that's what I got from the state.
You got so EMS of the Year,
Paramedic of the Year.
Paramedic of the Year for the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. And what year was that?
Oh gosh.
Do you remember?
No, I don't. Well, let's see. It was probably late 90s, early 2000s because I was still in paramedic school.
Okay. Wow, that's good job.
A long time ago.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No, but
I don't tell it very
good
often.
job. Well,
It's
I
that
appreciate you.
PTSD.
I appreciate you telling it here. That's great.
Once I got hired full time,
Did she? Well, let's finish that. Did
Okay.
she live?
She did, and she sent me a Christmas card. She had extensive surgery. Her face is, still
Sure.
messed up, but the story behind it was her parents were bringing them back from Disney World, and they went off the road and overcorrected, and the car flipped. And she was in the back asleep and was not seat belted in, so the car landed on top of her.
And she, is she still alive today?
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah. Went on to have a life because you were there, and the gentleman helped you out, and you guys, no equipment, no anything but the training and that you were going
baster.
through, and a turkey baster.
That's it. You'd be surprised what you can do with your bare hands and what equipment God gives you.
Whew. Yeah, that's a good story. That's okay.
Once I finished paramedic school, I decided I was going to go. Lynn Garrett, he was a firefighter. Well, he was a paramedic at the time, but now he's a firefighter. Mm-hmm. He said, "Let's start Honor Guard, and let's do something for the fallen EMS people." So we started the first ever EMS Honor Guard, and we would go to funerals of fallen EMS people. We even had to transport one of our own who died of a heart attack, but he was still active duty, so we had to take care of him, which was kind of hard. But
Okay.
let's see what else.
So you're involved with starting that. Is it still running today?
No, they disbanded.
Hmm.
Actually, fire picked up, and they have an honor guard, and they do that sort of thing now. But it's not EMS. EMS
Okay.
don't have any people on it. Then I got to meet your last guest, Chip Simmons.
He was second last guest, but
Second
yes.
last guest?
Yeah.
Okay. I met him, and he said, let's do some PSAs. Okay. I'm in.
What is
Let's
a
do
PSA?
Public
Remember?
public service announcement or whatever.
Okay.
And he said, let's do it on community, things that we can do to help the community. So he had a team of video people that went to California to learn how to, with Hollywood, to learn how to video the way they do. So Chip said, I told him I'd heard of them doing a sobering experience before over in Santa Rosa County, where you do a mock DUI crash from kids going to prom for drinking and driving.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, let's do that. So I did some research and found out, I had to bus in all the students from every area high school. I had to pay for their lunch because it was right around lunchtime. And I had to get all these paper signs saying, they're going off campus, so they have to make sure they're okay. But Chip's team got out there that day and they videoed this sobering experience, is what we called it. And it showed kids that if you drink and drive, what's going to happen. We had the help of the fire department, Pensacola Police Department, Escambia County Sheriff's Office, Life Flight, and the Highway Patrol. And we got cars donated that the fire department could actually put the children in it and then cut them out. And then we had people there that put makeup on them to make them look like they were injured, and showed that this is what happens whenever you drink and drive and you kill somebody. And it made a big impact, but it was a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. Because some principals at the area high schools didn't like you busing their kids out.
Sure.
And they were like, especially at lunchtime, what are you going to feed them? So we had the area pizzas, Domino's Pizza donated the pizzas so that we could feed all the kids.
That's good. Is that video still available for anybody to look at? And I've seen the video, but is that video still available for someone to look at? Like, how would they find it?
I don't think it's on YouTube, but we can
No?
put it. We had to get signed permission from the parents of the children that we had.
Uh-huh.
So once we did that, then we could release it. But
I'll tell you what, can we put it, is there a way to put it on YouTube?
I'm sure there is.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to look at the audience, and I'm kind of putting her on the spot. Can you share it with me?
I can share it with you, yes.
And I'll share it with you. All right. So what else about that video I think is kind of interesting in the help with now Sheriff and his team. What was he then?
He was chief of police.
Chief
Pensacola
of police. Okay. In Pensacola. And where was that video filmed?
Five Flag Speedway.
Five Flag Speedway. So there was a lot of efforts put in. The Pensacola Police Department, Five Flag Speedway, county schools, and Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza.
And the parents had to sign these waivers. And then who else? EMS.
EMS.
And fire.
Fire, the Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, because they had to arrest our drunk driver.
Highway Patrol. Okay. And what happened with the video? I know you said you don't want to say it, but I'm going to make you say it. What happened with the video?
My boss, Janice, submitted it to the state for EMS Video of the Year, and I won, and I got to go down and accept an award in Tallahassee.
EMS Video of the Year for safety.
For safety.
Safety Video of the Year. And I'll say this, and this is something that I've learned over time. And you said it wasn't easy and all this. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
That's just I've learned that over time. The things that are not easy it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
Right. So, do you remember when that was? people typically don't remember things like that,
I
but
don't.
you're just kind of
I
like,
want to
hey,
say 1999 maybe.
okay. That's
But-
amazing. I hats off to that. That's state recognitions on those things. I will find that video. I just think it's. I mean, drunk driving is still relevant today. So I mean, even though colors may be dull and tube TVs or however it was recorded, you know, not high definition, but it's still relevant. Drinking and driving puts everybody at risk, not just the driver.
Right, especially
So-
when you're young and dumb.
That's right. Or even when you're older. I mean, you think,
Yeah.
oh, I got it, and I can just put my thumbs up and keep the thumbs on the line. That doesn't work.
I haven't tried that.
Don't do that.
Okay, I won't do
Don't
that.
do that.
Chip Simmons, I have to give him kudos because he was a lot of help. And we did a pool safety video together too, and we tried to get TV3 to pick it up and air it, and they aired it maybe twice, and then they wanted money to air it. So we were like, we don't have money. We're just doing this, you know, about kids, you know, pool safety. We videoed it at one of his officers' house where we said, you know, if you have a pool, don't leave pool toys in the pool because that entices children to go to the pool. Make sure your doors and windows are locked so kids can't crawl out to the pool. Make sure you have a gate around the pool. That video is out there floating around too.
Well, that's still relevant today, too. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people have pools.
Yes,
So,
they do.
yeah.
And every year I hear about a child drowning in a pool, and it just
Yeah.
makes me sick.
Yeah.
Makes me sick.
All right. So now you've video of the year. You know.
You make me sound like a hero.
I mean, as soon as you decided to volunteer for public service, you're a hero. I'm just telling you, in my eyes.
Yeah, well, military's heroes in my eyes.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about you. That you're the guest. So, go ahead.
Let's see, what did I? Oh,
After the video.
the state invited me to become a grant reviewer, which I reviewed grants from all over the state. EMS
Oh.
agencies. They would. We had a team, and each team got a certain amount of grant. The state gives away money every year for you to get equipment or things that your EMS agency needs that you can't normally get. So you put a grant in to this grant group in the state, and they film them. They push them out to different ones of us to read and see if we think that they needed to get that piece of equipment. But you never get the ones like if Escambia put in a grant, I couldn't have that one. I'd have to get Seminole County or somebody like that. But you get
Got it. You couldn't review something
Right.
that you were
a part of.
sure. That makes sense.
And I did that for, gosh, probably 7 years. Even after I retired, I was still doing it, and I wrote him a letter and told him it wasn't fair that I continued to do that because I wasn't involved. I was retired, so I turned it over to somebody else.
Okay.
But I learned a lot about different EMS agencies by doing that, and learned what equipment they could get.
And why they were granted that equipment and what qualified them to get it.
Right. Most of it was hurricane items, like they wanted boats or they wanted, a bigger truck. And most of the rural areas just wanted a truck that run all the time, not anything major.
Right.
Which I always gave them that because, you got to have a truck that runs.
It's almost like why would you want a brush truck, for instance, or a side by side? If you have a side by side or a brush truck in a rural area, why would you need it down in like a city or a metropolitan area, or that? Why would you need it there? That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess maybe in the city, why would you need a rural designed vehicle?
In the city, not so much, but like Pensacola Beach.
For like, why would the grant purposes? I would
Right.
say you would learn that
Right.
that differential, or maybe Marion County, Ocala. If they're requesting a boat, would probably not be top priority over
No.
Tampa.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I'm just trying to make a comparison of how you would go through those grants, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, you have to take into account they had to put in the grant, population, how many people were in their community, how far they traveled outside the community in their, EMS capabilities, like we here go all the way to the Alabama line, and they would have to spell that out in the grant that said, we go this amount of miles and our trucks don't run or we don't have the right equipment to put on each truck. I mean, it was sad that some of them don't even have monitors to go on each truck, and that's something you need because early defibrillation saves people.
Monitors as in AEDs?
Cardiac monitors, yeah.
Okay.
It monitors your heart rate. Like, back when I first started, we didn't have them to where you could send them to the hospital and let the doctor view them before you got there. You learned how to interpret them, and you were it until you got them to the hospital.
Okay.
Now you can send it immediately to the hospital and let the doctor see. And that way they have a team ready if you have what they call a STEMI alert, which is an active heart attack, and they have doctors ready to jump on you when you get there. So.
And that's a benefit of technology, of how technology is advanced, and not sharing these off the wall influencer videos. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Like up here, we have AEDs.
Uh-huh.
The chief carries one in his vehicle, the assistant chief carries one in his vehicle, and I have one in my vehicle.
Okay.
And then another first responder has one in his vehicle. What we're trying to do now is get our churches. We're trying to find grants to get our churches AEDs. And the reason why is one of our firefighters was in church and had a heart attack. And they didn't have an AED in the church, but that was back when EMS was stationed up there, and they got to him quick and saved him. And he's still a firefighter.
I think that's a good idea. And this area is Bible Belt, and it kind of goes like this around the U.S. station here. And I've often heard that there's more churches here per capita than anywhere else. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but if and as people get older and they find their family and they stay with that family, that church family, and they spend a lot more time at the church, and especially in the rural area where there's not the social life, so to speak, that Pensacola has.
Right.
And you spend a lot of time on Wednesday with church dinner, or Sunday mornings and Sunday nights, and then Monday, and then you have your choir practice, and you're at churches a lot, and the population does get elderly. And we already talked about the time of the response time. I think that's a great idea that the AEDs are available and for use. That's yeah.
Well, that's what they teach you in CPR class is early defibrillation, and CPR is what saves you. Because if you had to wait on an ambulance, that you've lost brain cells from the time you called 911 or from the time the incident happened till the time an ambulance gets there. If there's nobody there, you burn some brain cells, and you may not come back from it. So CPR and early defibrillation is what saves lives.
Okay. Well, let's keep trucking. This is good. This is great. I love it. So we got your career going off. We got you got over to Inslee. You took the higher position, lower pay. You made a video. You made 2 videos. Awesome. You saved the girl on the road and got the EMS of the year, paramedic of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go from there?
Well,
That's the early 2000s, I guess, is where we're at.
Yeah, I made supervisor. Once I made supervisor, well, I made alternate supervisor first, and then
Okay.
I became supervisor. And from there, I become part of administration. I was, I guess you could say, third in charge.
Oh. I'm just messing with you.
Third in charge. But I would get out and run calls because that's where my heart is. My heart is backing my crew and helping.
Okay.
And that's
And
what every supervisor should do.
Now, when you went to the administration, you're talking Escambia County
Yes.
administration?
Escambia County EMS administration.
Okay, and that's down there, I guess now across from Kia?
On W Street, yes.
Yeah, behind the movie theater?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We moved in that building right after Hurricane Ivan.
Okay.
We were stationed before then at the sheriff's department, in the basement, where the dispatch is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved all our dispatch and all of us to W Street after Ivan.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
But hurricanes is a whole different story.
Right. Right.
You learn to live with people you don't really like.
That's correct, but you got to work together.
Right.
So you make
You
it.
have to
you make
spend
it
days with them.
better for the whole, and you just suck it up.
You do. You suck it
That's
up.
right. Okay, so now you're down at W Street, third in charge, and still running calls. And what time frame is that?
I retired in 2016.
Okay, so before then,
I spent 31 years at EMS total
31 years EMS here in Escambia County.
here in Escambia County.
Whew, that is a long time. Now,
My whole adult life.
I just said it's a long time. 31 years EMS in Escambia County. You saw a lot of things change. You saw a lot of people come and go.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned quite a few names through this process. And I know you mentioned one call. Is that probably the one that sticks out the most?
No, that's the one that made me decide where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do.
Okay.
The one that sticks out the most, I can probably talk about because they actually have a video online that a producer in Australia did, and it's on this certain call. And this call was, I was working midnight shift, and we got a call for a patient that had been tased, beat with a crowbar, and set on fire. And
That's a whole lot.
yeah, and my crew that went at the time, anytime that you had a bad call, the supervisor had to respond because we had RSI drugs on board, which is actually medicine that you give somebody to paralyze them so that you can intubate them.
Okay.
And supervisor was the only one that could carry this drug because our medical director wanted the supervisor there when it happened. So we responded. My crew got the girl in the back of the ambulance, and you just couldn't even tell if she was white or black or what because she was burned so bad. She had her tattoos were melted into her skin, and she was still talking. And we got her in the back and was working on her. And I said, and I don't normally ask people this question. I said, do you want to say anything? Because I'm fixing to put you to sleep, and you're not going to wake up for a little while. And she said, I thought we had made friends. And I said, who are you talking about? And she said, the people that did this to me. I said, well, what are their names? And she named 3 girls that lived in the trailer park that did this to her. And it's all over a guy that just got out of jail that lived in the trailer park too. It was a mother, a daughter, and her friend. And the last thing that girl said to me was, make sure my kids are okay. I said, where are your kids? And she said, locked up in the back bedroom. So I immediately got the sheriff's department to go get the kids out of the trailer. And we got her to the hospital, and I had wrote the names of the 3 girls on the pillowcase that she had her head on. So when we got to the hospital, I gave it to the sheriff's department, and I said, these are the names that she gave me of the people that did it to her. Well, she went to the burn center over at USA, and she passed away. And they used her statement to me as a dying declaration. And they locked these 3 girls up for life. And her name is still in my brain, and it always will be. And the vision of her is still in my brain. Because nobody deserved that.
Yeah. What are and the kids were okay?
The kids were okay.
Okay. Do you know if they're alive and well today?
I do not know. Her mother was in jail at the time.
Okay.
And when she got out of jail, she reached out to the state attorney's office wanting to speak to me, and I told her that I wasn't ready. Then I wasn't ready. And I think she got custody of the kids. I'm not sure where they went.
Okay.
I never laid eyes on them, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay, there's that story. Do you have a good, do you have a story that's good that you followed up with, maybe?
I followed up with a bunch of them. I had a gentleman that had a heart attack and coded on us. And
What's coded for? Hey.
Not breathing,
They
not
wanna know.
having a pulse.
Okay. Not breathing, not having a pulse. So, can we say legally
Dead.
passed away? Okay.
Yes. He was riding a motorcycle. And right there at the Civic Center, you know, that big on-ramp that circles around, and it's real high, and the ground drops down in the parking lot at Civic Center. Well, he was doing a high rate of speed, and he went over the top down into the Civic Center parking lot.
Wow.
And there was 2 of them. One of them passed away. He lived, and every year on the anniversary of the day of the crash, he would come to the office and bring us bubble gum. I don't know why bubble gum, but he would bring us bubble gum. And he's still alive. He was in the Navy at the time, and he's still alive. I can't remember his name because name slipped me, but I wouldn't tell you anyway. So
Sure. That's good. Did he stay in the Navy?
I don't think he was able to because of the extent of his injuries. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's not the first one that's ever gone off that overpass. There have been several, but that's the one that sticks in my head.
Wow, I'll tell you. Is there anything else you'd like to say about maybe your career or anything?
Well, I ended my career sooner than I wanted to.
By choice?
Kind of both ways. A month after I retired, I found out I had heart problems from a virus I had caught working the streets. And it attacked my heart and put me in heart failure. So I had to go get a defibrillator, and this doctor that treated me, she said, if you do what I say do, you can kick this. And I said, okay, because that's what I wanted to do. And she gave me this new medication, which at the time they were putting me on a heart transplant list because my heart was not pumping but 10%.
Wow.
And it got me up to 50%, which normal is 55. So I feel very blessed that I'm still here. There's a reason.
There is.
And I don't know if it's because of responding in Walnut Hill or what my journey's going to entail.
Yeah, something is not done with you.
You're right.
So, okay. And I think now everyone knows why I wanted you on here. And you downplay a lot and say, oh, I just, do my job and I'm here for the people. And no, you truly are here for the people. You embody the make where I live better. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate what you do in the unsung hero aspect. And that is exactly what I'm trying to bring to the community and let the community know who walks among us.
A lot of people have a silent story that they don't tell.
Correct.
And things they've done.
And I'm hoping that that many of them I can reach and they will have this opportunity. And I am going to say this, and you can be mad at me later. That's fine. I'll take your wrath. Even I was nervous when I first did this, and I'm still nervous. And I'll tell a lot of people. I even told my son the other day, I'm nervous when I speak in public. When I first start, when it first happens, but then it's, and then you get over it, but I get over it now. But I know you were somewhat nervous, but it's just us talking. I appreciate you coming here, and I appreciate you doing this. I'm going to say that it wasn't by design that you came up and talked today. This part is solely on me. This is my opinion. This is my opinion piece, so to speak. It's not an editorial. It's not fact driven. But and you can chime in on Susie Davis' opinion if you want. I don't represent any organization. I don't represent anything when I say this, but I will use maybe some organization for context. Got wind of some bureaucratic red tape, some policy, some, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, administration, office, let's make this in writing, going on recently. And it just so happened that I'd already planned to have Ms. Davis on here, and it came up today, but we've been sitting here talking about EMS and firefighting. Here in Escambia County, instead of paying the COLA that was told they'd be paid, it got pushed back due to whatever. I don't know. So firefighters aren't getting the COLA raise. But what they are getting is a bunch of let's take your esprit de corps down. Let's do that. Take your, your station symbols or your patches and whatever it is that pay tribute to your neighborhood and pay tribute to your fallen comrades off your apparatuses, your trucks, your shirts, or whatever. The county's like, oh, you can't do that. That's like, to me, that's like saying in the military, that's like saying, hey, take down your squadron emblems, take down your battalion badges. Don't feel camaraderie with your fellow troops. We all know that we're part of the Navy, the Army, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, the Space Force. We all know that. We all know that we live in the United States. We all know that we're Americans. We all know that we live in Florida. We all know that we are part of Escambia County. We all know that we're part of the Escambia County Fire Department. We know that. But what's wrong with having Inslee Fire Department and having that history of 25 years wrapped up into a Inslee Fire Department badge? What's wrong with having out at where you're out at Dog Track Road, having that badge? There's a sense of pride of the ones that came before you, that you honor them with that, and you honor that neighborhood. What does administration and a pencil pusher have to do with that? They're not the ones responding to a structure fire. They're not the ones that have sucking bottles and an hour bottle and sucking that down and pulling out a dog for somebody, or pulling out a child. God forbid that child doesn't make it. They're not the ones that have to go in there and do that. They're just the ones that say, hey, go scrape this thing that means the most to the ones that go fight what we people run from. They fight what we fear, and yet it seems that every 6 months some administration act, some politics or some politician or some whatever it is finds a way to antagonize them, finds a way to keep them in the political spotlight. Why? I don't understand it.
These emblems that they're talking about started back in the volunteer days. Kind of like Inslee and Ferry Pass were two that ran together. If there was a structure fire, it was Inslee and Ferry Pass. So they gave themselves names, like, I'll use example, Walnut Hill's the Wrecking Crew. And they would make their own little fire emblem.
Okay.
Kind of like a badge of honor that, hey, we're the Wrecking Crew. And then there would be somebody else with a different one. And each fire department, had a different one. That's just kind of like rivalry with each other. But,
sure.
And that's what they're talking about removing.
I understand. But why? Don't they? I mean, yeah, I get it. And they had to be approved. And as far as I understand, they were approved.
Yes, they were.
Okay, so they were approved. And I'm not talking bad about the firefighters. I'm not talking bad about fire administration. When I say administration, I mean the ones that work for downtown Escambia County.
Right.
I'm not talking about any fire department.
Right.
I'm not talking about the chief, Chief Harrison. I'm not talking about any of those, because from what I understand and what I was reading, it came from above that.
Right.
So what are we doing? Is that where the priorities are? The priorities are not putting out structure fires. The priorities are not saving your loved ones. The priorities are not making sure the COLA increase is put in on time now that it's delayed. The priorities are not living up to the promise that politicians or administration is making. The priorities are antagonizing and making mountains out of things that doesn't matter.
Well, this helps heal.
To the public. It matters to the ones that are fighting what we fear.
Right.
The rest of us run from a fire, and they just like, hey, let's suit up and run right in. I don't know.
Firefighters have PTSD. EMS people have PTSD.
1,000%.
That's real. Some people just know how to handle it better than others, and this is a way of, I guess, telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get it, but that's above my head, my pay grade.
It's above mine too. I just want to bring light to this and just say that, that's where we spend our time. Somebody's getting paid a salary to spend even. I don't get paid. I didn't pay you to come on, and you're not paying me, and no one's. We're sitting in my home. Well, this is the short conversation. No, you're coming to my home to have this, right? And so I can spend a little bit of time on this, but somebody's paying the salary, the taxpayers, for somebody to take an initiative, even if it's only for 2 hours. We paid a 2-hour salary for somebody to research and do this instead of spending 2 hours doing something else. But we all know it's some government job, and they spent more than 2 hours at looking into this, and somebody got paid to make this a priority and put a statement out there, and a spirit of corps and camaraderie between people that firemen and women that save our lives. I guess that doesn't matter. That's my, again, opinion piece.
And I invite them to get out and ride with those fire trucks, because
I will.
Those guys see things that no human eyes should ever see.
I will. I wish. This is to Chief Harrison. If I can get a waiver, or if I can get a piece of paper signed that I can go and have a background check and ride with the fire crew, I would love to be on a truck and just go see. I won't get in the way, I promise. I would love to go ride with them just to see. I'll ride an entire 12-hour shift. I'll donate my time just to see and what goes on. So at the end of every one of these, I always ask my guests. This is how it goes. But is there any piece of advice you could give me and the listeners to help us through the rest? Maybe that could help us in our days, or the rest of the week, the rest of the year, the rest of our lives.
Well, when you see an ambulance pull out of the way, an ambulance or a fire truck or a police car, get out of their way. They're going somewhere that somebody needs them. And I was always told that people on the other line, it might not be your emergency, but it's their emergency, and it means the world to them. So you get there as quick as you can. And I just don't know what to say otherwise.
Okay. Well, again, I tell you, it's been a wonderful, wonderful time here with Miss Susie Davis, and I tell you, I'm glad you got to hear some of her story, and I'm glad you decided to come on today. She had told me, and I'm just gonna end this today, but she told me she's never done anything like this before, so this is the first time she's done it, and I'm glad she did it here, and you got to hear it. I'm just moving my notes around. I always end this this segments with a plug to a local establishment, but before I do that, I'm gonna show this pin. This pin is a submarine pin that was given to me by a gentleman that was he's in the submarine part of the Navy. Don't know why. Crazy part of the Navy. I couldn't do it. There's no way, trapped in something like this and go underneath the water, and I couldn't do it. But much respect for the submariners out there, the bubbleheads. Get your dolphins, and I just couldn't do it. Not my deal. That and 100 men go down and 50 couples come up. I just couldn't do that either. Anyway, so the business I'm going to do today is the Cozy Corner. And the reason why, excuse me, Cozy Corner. They trim dogs, cats, or whatever. I don't know what you do with your cat, but they trim. They do a great job grooming. It's Martha Shavers owns the business up here in Molino, 196 and 29. I tell you, they do boarding up there. They have an outdoor play area. Miss Ellen runs that front desk over there. Every time I go in there, those people are very, very nice. And they do some crazy requests. I tell you, a little over a year ago, I went in there and I asked, for some reason, I adopted red and yellow for some colors. And wow, yesterday made a year. Anyway, for something else. But I asked them, hey, can I get a mohawk on one of my dogs? And can we dye it red with dog-friendly dye? And you know what? Sir Walter is one of my dog's names, and he got a red mohawk. And then I took my wife's dog, Olive, back up there, and she had a heart put on her back hind leg like a My Little Pony. And they matched, and they went around, and we took pictures, and they went around with us for something that was going on about a year and a half ago. And it was, so they meet our needs, and she is a very nice lady. And I first met her by talking to her on the phone for over an hour and a half. And I'll tell you, it was kind of a weird experience. I was just naive enough, but she said, "Hey, you need to go meet my husband." And she told me where her husband's office was, and she said, "Just go over there and talk to him." So I went in there and I walked over there in his office and sat down and we talked, and he didn't know me from Adam. And but she's a very, very nice lady, very sweet lady. They have nothing but very professional, respectful people that work in their business, that their office, and I go in there and take my dogs there. So
Is that the one with the coffee shop beside them?
it is, and I did highlight the coffee shop because Carrie is very nice as well, and just knows what I like to drink when I go in there. So what I really, full disclosure, what I do is I go drop my dog off, go get a coffee, and talk to Carrie, and then I leave, and then I come back and full disclosure, I go get a coffee and pick my dog up. So it's terrible, terrible, terrible. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I say I, but what I really mean is we have had a great first month. We're starting off the second month. I will tell you that there's something coming going to start up in November from Talk to Talk JR. That's going to be a little different. On Wednesdays we release the Where in Escambia County videos. Where in Escambia County am I videos. Seems to be taking off really well. Getting some good video, good hits, good likes, good views. Some of the places I even get comments that, "Oh, I didn't know that was there," or "I didn't know that this was going on." So I guess it's pretty good that I'm going out there and showing people that there's low cost or free options to do, especially in these times. But there is something going to come, and it's going to come on Tuesdays. Coming out in November, and then I'm going to add one more thing in November, and it's going to start, and it'll be at the end of the month, every month, that I keep this going. So on behalf of Susie Davis and myself, thank you very much for watching Talk to Talk JR, and I hope you come back and you watch the next episode. But now that we have talked the talk, I hope you get out there and you walk the walk. See you next time.